Hello. So we have received a question on a recent Source Eternal quote that goes like this: a single day of fearless living is better than a lifetime of slavery. And the questioner says, by hearing this, I feel like this is based on my own life, yet I do not know how to get out of it. Understanding the post first, it says that a day of fearless living is better than a lifetime which has been spent in the torment or under slavery. And what is this slavery that we are talking about here? Is it something which only means to constraining someone, putting someone in a physical cage? Or does it have more implications which are towards mental harassment or a repeated way of subjecting the other to one's own limited perception of life by a tyrant, as we would call it, and being unable to break out of this cycle or be able to live in any other way than the one which you have been accustomed to, or the one where you find yourself in, makes you a slave of this system. Having established that slavery need not mean something which is restricting you physically, but through a mental indoctrination, you have also given away your spirit. This talk about soul, chetna, and many other things that a person is supposed to have, it is often talked to us, or we are told about this, that we are supposed to be free. We are supposed to go towards liberation. A true being is one who progresses, and the parameter of our progress is nothing else but by checking that are we a freer being than we were yesterday. The ice which is frozen on the icebergs, the mountain tops, it goes, melts, goes down, forms riverines, and turns into massive rivers which eventually lead into the sea. And this water, which was once frozen, it finds itself completely lost in the deep seas, the oceans, and yet it evaporates when it reaches its burning point, or through this scientific mechanism is able to achieve its height, its liberation, as you might call it. And so is the journey of a man or a woman. Humanity cannot be described through a better metaphor than this, that we follow our paths. We might get stuck at times, but all of us have to head towards the sea. That is the journey. And if you find yourself stuck in repeated cycles, if you find that your energies are not flowing in the way that they could have, the beauty or the meaning, the purpose that you could have created through your very being is left unfulfilled, then you need to start questioning your cycles. And the questioner over here being able to see that they are stuck in this cycle of slavery comes through this questioning. And it is very shubh. It is a gift that at least you are able to see where your chains lie. Because without knowing that a person is in chains, a person will never go towards or show that continuous process or that frustration, and all those negative emotions will never get diverted towards the correct action. Like the fish who is out of the sea, the desperation that it feels, let this desperation, let this angst, let this great affinity towards your beloved or something that enriches you make you break those shackles. And the very basic inception of this journey starts from understanding one's chains. Yet, by understanding, I do not mean that you start having a kind of a very twisted love affair with your chains or the person who chains you. It's very easy that more like a coping mechanism that we try to just romanticize falsely the situation or the soups that we find ourselves in. Yet, the more tougher, yet the only way which will really lead us to something greater is through questioning those chains, putting up a fight against them with all your heart, all your soul, or all your energies. And that's how you head towards your liberation. And it need not necessarily be a single energetic drive or a single rush or a single lash of the blade or the bamboo. It might be through the smallest of processes, like for once acknowledging the soup that you find yourselves in, and it leads to many small actions. And as you keep doing them, you dwell on your strengths and not depend on your weaknesses. You try to give birth to the higher version of yourself. You are no longer just the limitations or just the reasons or just the finiteness of this transactional slave mentality or mechanism that is keeping you trapped. You are a lot more than that. You question, you bring this practice of reflection. You inquire within as to what is it within you that keeps you enslaved. Because it always takes two hands to make the sound of a clap. And it is through your cooperation that this current scenario is running, that this mechanism, this relation of a person being a tyrant and the other being a victim is working. Why is it working for the tyrant? Ask yourself that. Go closer to this mechanism, understand its workings, and once you know enough, just break this chain. Clarity brings confidence, and the true confidence is one that comes from clarity. Once you have questioned enough, once you have experimented on your own, once you have seen these workings, these cycles that are keeping you trapped. And it need not be a tyrant in the way of a single person. It could be the mechanisms of society at large that are not working for you. They are keeping you trapped. It could be through the means of your liabilities. It could mean through the means of any other addiction that you find yourself trapped in. Because in a way you are a slave of it. And what is not serving you any purpose, and yet you find yourself trapped in those cycles, consider that you are a slave of those. And only by questioning, only by going closer, only by showing courage when clarity shows you the way, is how you make yourself liberated. And it is this working on these triggers, following through on your commitments, following through and remembering this thing that you are currently trapped, is the best reminder that you could give. And it is only through this that you would find one fine day that your chains have evaporated. Not through any act of cowardice or further just taking down your throats whatever filth has been fed to you, but by taking the courageous stand again and again and again.